All right, we are live. It is high noon on a Wednesday. What is up, Aggie Land? We welcome you inside the TexAgs studios. It is episode number 5 of Looch Bock. I'm Gabe Bock, joined each week by the source, Billy Liucci, and we are live every Wednesday at noon. TexAgs.com/live and the TexAgs YouTube channel. Looch Bock, presented by Bock Realty Group. Luxury, new construction, first-time home buying, investment, real estate, and more. BRG would love to help you with all of your real estate needs. Email me. Let's get a conversation going. Gabe at BockRealtyGroup.com. Bock Realty Group, turning our experience into your advantage. Texas A&M and Auburn this Saturday, 2:30 at Kyle Field, and the place is going to absolutely be rocking. The Aggies coming off that bye with 2 weeks to rest up and prep for this one, and meanwhile, Auburn, they dropped an absolute heartbreaker. They're still not 100% over in Norman last week. Lost it by a whisker. 2 SEC-type referee moves gone awry, and it could have been a very white-hot Auburn team coming in here this weekend. That game could have gone either way. Liucci, right off the top, man, a big freaking football game early in September here, early in the season in late September at Kyle. I can't wait for it, man. How are you?
I'm good. And yeah, you're a lot better when you're talking about and preparing for games like this. I mean,
yeah,
this is why we love doing it. We talked about it last week when they beat Notre Dame. And I talked about it all offseason. I said, if you beat Notre Dame, your chances of winning on this homestand, beginning this weekend, were exponentially higher. It guarantees you nothing. We know this. You watch enough SEC football.
Oh, sure.
You watch enough Auburn and A&M football.
It's
usually the lesser team that seems to win the game.
A lot of times the road team, and yeah.
For a while it was the road team, and sometimes it's like the lower ranked team or the team that has the worst season. It has been a weird rivalry.
Don't you feel like Auburn has that going with a lot of teams? They got that weird thing with LSU. They got that weird thing with Florida. Yep.
But with A&M, I think it's been really weird. You know why? Because both teams, with the exception of Auburn in 2013, and I know they made one other SEC title game appearance. I still think if you rated the best team seasons per team since the Aggies joined the SEC, it would go Auburn 1 in 2013, and I think A&M in 2012 and 2020 might be the other two best, and then Auburn's SEC title game appearance would be 4th. But point being, they've been actually very even. Auburn's had, to me, more bad years, but their highs have been a little high. So, but they've been a very evenly matched in terms of on the field and as a program since the Aggies joined the SEC. So it stands to reason that all these games would be this competitive. I think their talent level is generally very comparable. It's been rare that I've thought A&M has a lot more talent than Auburn. It's been rare that I've thought, I don't know if I've ever thought, well, A&M can't be on the field with them from a talent standpoint.
No, I agree.
Hell, the one year I thought A&M would have a talent advantage is the year Auburn played for the national title.
So going into the year, you looked at it on paper and thought, oh, I think we're better than them. Yeah.
So
crazy
it's like
things happen.
Crazy. It was, and that was the luckiest.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at last year.
Yeah.
They were heinous last year.
Last year, A&M had a well, I say that. You see, we can say that, but what did the NFL draft look like last year? I don't know how many Auburn had picked. I know A&M only had 3, and they were all at one position. And you know,
Lambert's playing in the NFL. Asante's playing in the NFL.
Was really good. Yep. Asante from North Carolina.
Jarquez Hunter, heck of a player.
I saw Auburn fans talk and say, "Well, we're a lot better than last year." And it's like, well, that's fine. I agree with that. So is A&M. And last year, you guys had Jarquez Hunter, and A&M did not have Le'Veon Moss. Now, you don't have Jarquez Hunter. A&M does have Le'Veon Moss.
That's right.
That swing in and of itself, A&M probably wins that game by 2 touchdowns last year if you took away one and replaced with the other. So this is going to be too tough it's not too tough to predict. We're going to predict it. But I fully expect it to be another A&M Auburn war. They've got some matchups that scare the hell out of you, particularly. I think it's primarily the Cam Coleman factor and Jackson Arnold. he got sacked a million times last week, but his ability to extend a play with Coleman could be problematic. Coleman killed you last year, the longtime A&M commit. There's not a lot of matchups there that's scary, but there's matchups that make you go, this is how Auburn can stay in it. It's Jackson Arnold.
Oh, yeah.
How does A&M handle the running threat at quarterback? I've said it before to Olin a million times. DJ Durkin's a good SEC coordinator. People don't want to, everybody hated him here because he ran a 3-man front. And everybody just goes, oh, 3-man front, he sucks. We got a bunch of D linemen. He's too much 3-man front. I'm an armchair expert. In my calculation, we shouldn't be doing that high a percentage of 3-man front. Therefore, he sucks. I agree. Take advantage of the talent that you've got, and I thought he should have. But both things can be true. If you felt like he misused the strength here more so than he should have, he didn't live in, but too much for my taste. But he can also still be a really good coordinator. So they've got one of the better D coordinators in the league, and I'm going to tell you this: he's better than the guy A&M faced a couple weeks ago in South Bend. He's better than Chris Ash. So he'll challenge Marcel differently. The good thing is Marcel and Colin Klein have faced. They faced DJ Durkin last year in that Auburn defense, so there's a little more familiarity than there was a year ago.
They've been fantastic at bottling up the run game, but there are plays to be had on the back end of that Auburn defense.
Yeah.
And Marcel Reed's a guy that's proven now he can go do it, especially if you give him some time. And A&M has done that. Marcel is really good at avoiding the sack, really good at buying a little bit of time with his legs. And now we're seeing him step up in the pocket and buy time to throw, not just buy time 1-2, not there, half the field's covered, let's go run.
Yeah.
No, he's observing. We're giving him time. A&M's only allowed 2 sacks. They're getting to the quarterback 3 a game, just like A&M. Interestingly, both those teams are tied for third in the league.
One of their top pass rushers is banged up, and I know they're starting their best DB, their best corner who didn't play against OU is questionable in this one too.
Who's hurt? See, this is where I don't live and breathe. Atkins,
Xavier
Atkins, or
who's the other one?
Keldrick Falk.
I think it's that. I think it's
he's got 2 sacks and 3 batted passes this year.
Falk. But point being, one of their 2 pass rushers is questionable per somebody out there that knows.
Interesting.
I don't know if he'll pop up on the injury report tonight or not, but the issue to me is this, they stopped the run, and it's going to be a challenge for A&M, but who have they played that's a running?
Well, I agree.
They played Baylor, who they can dismantle. I went and watched Baylor this weekend. If an SEC team couldn't dismantle them at the line of scrimmage, that offensive line is not. And then they played OU, which
their quarterbacks
they were without, I think, one of their starting tackles. And OU's running game has not been. That's not what impresses you.
Mateer is their running game, right?
So
and Robertson doesn't give you the threat to run. Nowhere near the level.
It's not even. You can't even mention Baylor.
Even if you're the biggest Baylor fan, you say, "Hey, Washington and Moss are a push," and I don't agree.
No,
Washington. If you said that, he's good.
Franklin fan.
They shut him down 57, 58 yards in that game. They didn't have much else. If he got shut down,
it's not the running back though.
What we've got going for Colin Klein in this offense is a lot of depth back there and the QB run through.
Yeah, for sure. But it's not. That's not even where I'm going with that. I'm going with the line of scrimmage. So they could have Baylor could have. Forget nothing against Washington. I watched. He looked good this week. I watched him. He was one of the guys that impressed me. But it doesn't matter. First of all, Moss is better. The college back. Moss is. I don't know if there's a better one in the SEC. I mean, Ahmad Hardy will have a case, but I think
it's Hardy.
Yeah, but Le'Veon, it's Hardy. He looks it. It looks the part. But I would also contend they've played no defenses yet. And we'll see how Le'Veon does against South Carolina.
The number one prophetic statement that you've made this year on this show that's been proven right is that South Carolina's garbage.
Yeah.
Hot garbage.
So what I'm talking about, though, is the line of scrimmage. So they could have Bo Jackson in Waco. But what Auburn was doing to their offensive line, just like Auburn could have actually had their guy, Bo Jackson, it wouldn't have mattered against OU with what the Sooners were doing at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if the Aggies can do that. I think OU might have the best front four, and I wasn't buying this before the season, and I'm still not buying OU even with Mateer. I think they're very beatable. Auburn should have beaten them. They got robbed. They legitimately got robbed. I think
really
OU's
did.
made a big jump. I think they're a higher end SEC team, but I'm not that impressed with their O-line. I'm not that impressed with their running game. I'm not that impressed with their back end. I am impressed with quarterback, tight end. I think they got playmakers at wide out.
No
but I mean,
question.
if I'm going position by position, I like A&M's receivers better. A&M's O-line, A&M's running back. I would call quarterback a push. They're both playing really well early in the season. Both guys still have something to prove too. Mateer's now hurt, but so yeah, I think this is the best offense that Auburn will have faced. So they're good against the run. You
Yep.
got to wonder, how does that work if A&M starts establishing throwing the football and they have to kind of loosen up? What do Moss and that stable you talked about do as the game goes on?
Yeah, for sure. If I'm thinking about the matchup on the field, offense, defense, or special teams, that's given me the biggest kind of heartburn going in, it's got to be, do they just put Cam Coleman in the freaking boundary every single play and force Will Lee to cover him because he's going to be on the boundary? And then you're going to say, hey, I'm going to take Ricks and put him on Singleton, who's a little shifty guy. Or will he be in the slot? And that'll be Chappelle. But, I mean, if Ricks is having the better year, and who could say he's not, do you force A&M to have to make a call? Do I go player on player, or do I force Will Lee to make plays this year?
Yeah, I think you find that out during the game because it's not like you're game planning and that's going to affect, like, oh, man, this just screwed everything up now because we haven't worked. I mean, these corners can each play each side. You know, it's not like a left tackle that you're moving to right because your right tackle can't block somebody. So it's in-game adjustable.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to see a situation. What was it a couple of years ago? What was our DB that came from Boston College? It was just getting eaten alive by Bama.
Help me out, Cade.
Yeah, Cade, help us out. The transfer that went to Bama that didn't have a good year and went for 200 yards against A&M here at Kyle Field was the whole reason Bama won, because all Milroe could do was throw it deep. And they just picked on this corner that everybody thought was lockdown because he made a bunch of tackles against Miami and he had an interception in another game. But everybody jumped the gun on that one. On the A&M side, like everybody was, it was great, and he got cooked against Bama, but you stuck with it inexplicably. I don't expect A&M to do that. One thing about Will Lee, he's like he matches up better with certain guys than others. Now, I don't know. The problem is, does anyone match up with Cam Coleman?
He's a nightmare.
He's a Pro Bowl. I don't know much about Cam Coleman's mental makeup. Like if he's a dog out, like a warrior and loves football. I don't know any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But if he is, he's an NFL Pro Bowl guy. He's that good. So
no question.
So no one really is going to be like a great matchup for him, and they're going to have to do some things to keep him from having the impact he had last year. But Will Lee is a matchup guy, and I think he has a harder time with guys like Singleton and those type guys. I think A&M really protected those corners against Texas last year, and that's why the Longhorns were able to run so much, because the matchup with a guy like Matthew Golden was a real problem.
Mm-hmm. Golden and Bond were tough.
But, well, Bond would have been tough, but talk about a mental
my goodness.
Mental makeup. Cade, you can delete the midget part because you can't say that anymore.
Can you not?
I guess not. But he was
can you not on podcasts? You got to say whatever the hell you want.
Well, you can, but then you still got to deal with. Okay, so Bond would have been talk about being mentally soft. That's what's kept him from being drafted. But
for sure.
Golden was a nightmare matchup, and then you look, Theo Weiss, Willie locked him down, shut him down. So I think with Will, it's just a certain type receiver he's a little bit better suited for. no one's going to say that guy is Cam Coleman, but I wonder if that's maybe a little more in his comfort zone in terms of style of receiver. But problem is, you can cover Cam Coleman. You can be draped all over him like an actual blanket, and there's still a pretty good chance he's going to catch the football.
Well, look,
so you almost have to have a second guy there to deter Arnold from even making that throw.
Mm-hmm. He's good enough that you can sit in 3rd and 8 and still get it out to him and still move the ball and still score 2 touchdowns by accident because you just threw it up to him and you're draped all over him. But here's the key from you got another point on that?
Worries me a little bit too.
It's just an eraser.
I'm not overly worried about the game per se. I think A&M's going to win, but I
agree.
I know it's going to be tough and close, which by definition means it could go either way. One of the other matchups that worry or aspects of the game that worries me would be after getting sacked 10 times. How much are they going to go and do what a lot of these lesser teams do to SEC teams? And like a lot of teams did to A&M last year with their D-line being as fierce as it was, which is snap, turn, throw. And if you're having to back off of a guy like Coleman and play off because of the fear of what he can do down the field, how many times are they going to negate the pass rush and their inefficiencies and liabilities there by catch, throw, force everyone to come up? And if you give Cam Coleman a cushion, he's going to eat up yards, 7, 8, 12, so Elko and Bateman will have their hands full in not letting him take over the game, but also understanding he's going to make some plays.
Yeah, I mean, it's a group with dangerous weapons on the outside, no doubt about it. Singleton was really good at Georgia Tech, too. He's been off to a decent start. I mean, Crane's all over him. Like, I want to see more in big moments, things like that. These guys that really know Auburn are thinking, hey, I expected more for X a million of dollars out of the portal kind of thing. This is what you think about these days.
Comparing him to a guy like Craver.
Right. No question about it. But where they differ from most great Auburn teams of the past, they don't just have that Mason. You're going to hand it off to him 20 times, or Hunter, or Big B. I mean, you just go back. The good Auburn teams, this guy's pretty decent, and he was okay against Oklahoma, but 44 of his 61 rushing yards was on one play, on a bust. So I think Cobb, that's something's got to give moment there, right?
Yeah, A&M's got to build on what I thought was a respectable game in run defense against. It was a respectable game against Notre Dame up there, and 2 great backs that are like those Auburn backs you talked about.
Best run game you'll see all year.
Particularly Love, but I think both of them. But obviously Love's the All-American candidate. And
thanks for giving Dennison some love there.
I gave him a little love.
We always do it once a decade when Kempner's
I was about to say, who from Kempner?
Josh Bell.
Josh Bell, the last guy we had that was a player, like a big-time guy, was probably Trey Thomas, who played with me.
Yeah.
He started
it's been
4
a
years.
little while, man.
He started 4 years
I didn't know they were still a school, Kempner.
Well, we are. The only, the trivia, the only Kempner player ever to come to A&M.
I thought Josh Bell came to A&M.
But he signed with A&M.
Okay.
I don't think he came to A&M.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
Aggie.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
At Colorado.
That's
now.
wild.
Yeah. So, anyway, you're right. They've had, since A&M's joined the SEC, I mean, Auburn, they've been up and down at a lot of spots. One thing they've always had are running backs. I mean, really, really good ones.
Oh, yeah.
And
Hunter waited his turn and was a beast last year.
Yeah. And so, and Trey Mason was, nobody thought he was going to be much. And then all of a sudden these are guys that A&M, by the way, flirted with in the recruiting process, both of them. So Jarquez Hunter late, Trey Mason early. But look, my bigger concern is Arnold's legs and Cam Coleman and the receiving core. So another test for this A&M defense as they have to continue to get better. Look, if that's the same defense that we saw, that A&M defense should be noticeably better Saturday than what we saw the last couple when we saw them playing against UTSA and Utah State. Because they were noticeably better against Notre Dame, but a much better team that hit them. The Aggies are 2 mental busts away from only giving up 20 up there. They had a punt block, mental bust on a flea flicker, which in fairness is designed to make you mentally bust. And sometimes it's just a perfectly timed call, and it's not as easy as going, oh, it's just, but it was a mental bust, it wasn't physical. And then letting Love come out of the backfield uncovered for a 40-yard touchdown or whatever, that was mental. No, literally.
Yep.
Scooby Williams didn't run with him. Didn't go.
That's a good point.
That's
2 plays away from everybody talking about how complete this football team is.
It's 14 points on 2 plays, and so look, again, those plays happen. They count. So until we see them not have the bust in coverage, mental against the run, and this is, I think, a great opportunity to show that. This team in Auburn, I don't know, Gabe, if it was 3 drives, 21 points last year. If it wasn't 3, it was 4.
3 out of 4. We're down 21-0, right? I was there.
They were down 21-0, and it was either all 3 or it was 3 out of 4. But they blitzed you right out of the rip. It was a barrage. They took a standing 8 count in the first round, basically. So I do think Elko and Bateman and this defensive staff, I don't know how much of this goes into, competitive coaching. Is it just, yeah, we're going to look at last year because we want to fix all of this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to design, try to do a 10 out of 10 scheme and game plan and play calling to win this game, and that's going to be whether it's Utah State or Auburn, or do these coaches sit there and go like we think we would be, or are they just more programmed and understand this, it is what it is, or do they go, these son of bitches went out and put 21 on us on 3 or 4 drives last year, and Hugh Freeze and that offense with Peyton Thorne, they lit us up. So I've got a little bit more fuel to my fire getting ready for this one, because I do not want to see that happen to my defense again.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know which way you think as a coach in there, but I either way, it's one of those deals where, again, this will be a good litmus test, because last year on defense it gave up a ton of big plays. Auburn was one of the teams that did it to you. And then a couple weeks ago, you did a much better job against Notre Dame, but you did give up some chunk plays again.
We'll end up circling back to this Auburn game, but before we move off of it, the main character in this game, from our vantage point, is that dude wearing number 10.
Mm-hmm.
And how good he's been. And now you look up, and the Heisman front runner is going to be out for a month. And when
he shouldn't have been the front runner either.
But in a lot of people's minds, everyone's pumping him up. He's going on every show. He's doing the banquet tour. And now he's got more time to do that because he's not going to play on the football field for a month.
I texted one of the guys we know in national sports media, and then I texted another one. I said, listen, here's a couple of my issues right now that I have this week. Number one, this stuff about, and it's not number 1, it was probably number 3, but this stuff about Arch Manning, nobody cares that he ran over a Sam Houston player, stood over. I don't give a damn about that. What everyone's up in arms about is the national hype job of it. Just to completely ignore the context, completely ignore his performance through the first 3 games, and focus on a highlight of running over an inferior opponent, from a vastly inferior, from a pitiful football
team. Are they the
team.
worst team in D1? They're winless.
Probably. And to do that, but then to see the Longhorns celebrate it like they won a national championship, victory lap after victory lap on social media, say Arch is back, pull direct comparisons of his numbers and John Mateer's numbers.
Oh, direct comparisons with him and Peyton and Eli.
Through
6 games.
This stuff's getting insane. And so that's where everybody's going, what the hell? Because you guys are the same people that then go, hey, it's too much on him. Let the guy develop. We put too much pressure on him. He's a young quarterback. No, you were the ones that were anointing him. And everyone like me and you that said, hey, there's going to be some growing pains, we got shouted down. We got told we didn't know ball. We got, ratioed all over the place on social media because, God forbid, Jordan Rodgers should say, I didn't see anything on tape that makes me think he deserves this lofty a ranking. And they tried to crucify that guy. But and now you're the same people, fans and media types, that are going, it's too much we've put on. People put too much. People. It's not you, it's people. People have put too much on him.
That was a little in-house.
So that was my number 1. Nobody gave a damn about that he ran over and lorded over this fallen Sam Houston guy because I know the guy was running his mouth. I don't care, even if he wasn't. It's football. It's alpha sport. If you break through a tackle and cross the goal line and get up, and fine, I'm good with it. It is. Why do we have to take that and go, oh man, he's back? Why do we have to compare? He had a passer rating that ranked with the best he's ever had. Yeah, it should. The only thing I'll take is if somebody says, man, I just like seeing him throw the ball accurately
against air.
Because he didn't do that against two other bad teams.
Right.
He did now, so I'm encouraged. That's normal. And that's what honestly, it's what most Longhorns are doing. It's these loudest of the loud on social media, and it's the actual media that are making it's like, here we go again. This guy has sucked for 3 games. He's not going to suck forever. I do not believe that. I think the dude's going to be good. I really do. But he has been terrible for 3 games. And he has 1 game against air. And then you guys that were the same ones that told us that it was too much pressure, too much, are jumping
bringing it right
back into doing it again.
I know.
My second thing, John Mateer.
Yeah.
Really good. I thought people were significantly overhyping him. I thought he should have thrown 3, if not 4 picks against Michigan. Threw 1. It could have easily been 3. I know for a fact they dropped 2 catchable. And it might have been a 3rd. And I understand there's a risk-taking element. Hell, we loved it when we saw it in number 2 here.
Yep.
And I like watching Mateer play.
The non-church-going John Mateer.
Yeah. But the way everyone anointed him as this Heisman front runner, because, I don't know that he had a better game against Michigan than Raiola did. I'm not sure he did.
The difference is a win versus a loss.
And then against Auburn, look, man, one of his touchdowns shouldn't have even counted. And even if it did, it was to a guy that they just forgot was even on the field. And he didn't have a bang-up game. So I'm excited and interested to see. And now what they'll say is, well, he had a broken hand. They say he broke his hand in the first quarter. He completed 16 of 17 down the stretch. Now, tip my cap to that, but not how broken, it is broken. But how bad was it affecting you that you could complete 16 out of 17? Again, credit for that, but at the same time, it wasn't like his hand was doing this and he couldn't grip a football. Obviously,
like Max Johnson at Mississippi State a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He literally couldn't throw it.
Yeah. If you play hurt, you always get my credit. But what I want to see is if Marcel Reed went out and played really well against this tough Auburn defense that did do a good job against Mateer, and you look at Marcel versus Mateer against a common opponent early, same time of year, sometimes beginning of the year, and I put less stock in, and Marcel versus Carson Beck in Miami in back-to-back games would be a really interesting discussion to have, but there's a big hurdle first, and that is Durkin and that Auburn Tiger defense. But just something to kind of file away.
No, you're making good points because Mateer has 2 high-profile victories. He's got the Michigan game, he's got the Auburn game. But to your point, they've been the luckiest team in college football so far. Couple plays, couple drops here and there, a couple bad calls, and they're sitting there with 2 losses.
Yeah.
To your point. Because it wasn't a blowout early against Michigan. And now they don't have Mateer. And A&M's got a guy that is proven. You're down 21-0, the game ain't over yet.
Now,
you lose your best player on the entire football field and you're down 2 scores, game ain't over yet. And that was last year. Now think about what this guy's doing. He just threw you to victory. I was listening to Crane and those guys today, and they were kind of lambasting Arnold a little bit in that he's not a guy that will throw you to a win if the chips are down. He's a guy who can do a lot of things, good little football player, good athlete, not a throw you to win type of quarterback. Well, I think A&M for the first time in a while has got that dude.
Yeah.
I can say pretty confidently he's going to win, somebody's going to lose. This cat has got what you're looking for at quarterback. Yeah, now it's time to continue to go out and prove it.
And there's going to be some games where his completion percentage isn't good, and he still does it. You look at the other day. Reminds me of same thing. Jackson Dart, or no. No, is there somebody I was looking at in the SEC? I'm like, sometimes their completion percentage isn't great, but they won the game for you, and that's what Marcel did against Notre Dame. It wasn't just that one play; it was a bunch of plays that won the game for you. But
well, Beck's good games, he would have 2 picks.
yeah.
And he'd still go win you the game.
And I'm talking about completion percentage. I don't think Marcel needs to avoid turnovers.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just like sometimes if, and it could lead to interceptions, the inaccurate throws. So he's got to be careful with that. But he's gotten so much better. And I think he's just going to continue to get better. The mental side, you mentioned it earlier as a quarterback, you can see him really, it's night and day where he's at with that, which is expected. That's what we said all offseason. Let this kid develop. He's smart. He knows ball. He grew up around it. Just let it happen naturally. And let him be in the film room like he told me last week every day with Colin Klein. And let those two build a rapport where Marcel feels like he could say, hey, I really feel like I'm comfortable with this, and this. And the coach understand it and go, yeah I know. Here's what I did. Here's that. Like that type feel. By the way, before we move on, my third one that I was telling you, do not be afraid to criticize Texas Tech because you're scared of Cody Campbell and and I'm being serious. They're not scared of the guy, but as this season goes on and they've played no one, because I think Utah is going to prove to not be very good. I think they're going to be just top third of the Big 12. Like they're not special at all because Dampier is going to have a hard time throwing when teams want to take that away. But, and that's still, by the way, quality win for Texas Tech.
Oh, yeah,
Utah.
losing a quarterback.
Last time I saw an A&M team go out there, they got shellacked. Now that was Urban Meyer and Alex Smith and company, Weddle, and who was the other safety that was so good? God,
I
played
don't
a long time in the NFL. Anyway, it's not. That's a really nice win. As we sit here today, 4 weeks into the season, it's one of the better wins in college football.
Yeah, they won't have a ranked win.
I don't think that one. I think Notre Dame will have shelf life. It'll age well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Utah will, even in the Big 12. My problem is this: as the year goes on and Texas Tech has played no one, I don't even think they catch TCU.
They
on their
won't
schedule.
play anybody. That's the point. They're going to be sitting there 11-1 at worst.
And it's fine if they win the Big 12, they go to the playoff, and then they can prove themselves.
Yeah,
they look like a good football team.
You want to know their schedule?
Yeah, rip through it.
At U of H, Kansas at home, at Arizona State. Interesting. That'll be a fun one.
It will, but
because that leads you so far.
I don't think they match up.
Okie Light, literally now, without the mullet, at home, at K-State, who's garbage. BYU at home.
It's a tougher
25th.
one.
UCF at home, and then at West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, there's some like trickies in there, but that's the easiest. It's not even close. It's not even remotely comparable to any other playoff contender. Then you might be able to find me one out of the ACC, like Georgia somebody Tech. That misses. Yeah. There's the one.
Yep,
you're right. But it's not remote. But Georgia Tech has to play Georgia.
Yeah, it's
okay,
true.
So that changes.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, so we changed the whole deal, right? Yeah. With that said, all I'm getting at is don't be scared because they're a great story out of the Big 12, and don't be scared because they've got a Twitter mob, and don't be scared because they're doing something in paying players and going crazy on the NIL front and being brazen about it. All things I agree with. I applaud them for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think take full advantage of that. I think it's a cool story that Tech has said, we're going all in, and they're led by this guy who I respected even more that he's a former player. Like, I've got zero qualms with that. This should not be the private billionaire boys club that no one else can jump into. If you're not Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, if you're, hell, A&M in a way has crashed that one. I know everybody goes, oh, oil money, but A&M doesn't have the history of it should not be exclusive, and it no longer is. So anybody can play the game that wants to. It doesn't have to be Oregon. Yep. So I'm fine with that. But because because don't be scared to come off as the person that is hating on them because people might think you're doing it because you want to keep them out. They don't belong. do it because you do it to any other school that played that schedule. Don't hold back as this year goes on. Now, if they're undefeated, it doesn't matter. If they win the Big 12, it doesn't matter. But if they're, what if they're 11-1, they lose a Big 12 title game? You got to start, really looking at that and disregarding, how it comes across, because it's just, you treat them, they want to be treated the same as the SEC and Big 10 and ACC teams and the power programs, then you do that.
Remember 17 years ago when you sent me on that recruiting trip to Dallas?
Yeah, probably when you went to DeSoto and
DeSoto, Skyline.
Gabe goes and hits every high school in Dallas.
Dallas Carter.
To this day, and Bronny and Howell's a grinder. Bronny.
Oh yeah.
Bronny.
No, Bronny's outdone that trip 10 times.
No, he has never.
But here's the deal.
No one's outdone, and Howell and Bronny are amazing. No one's outdone that.
That was my first year. I didn't know what I didn't know.
You went and saw your boy Joey McGuire.
That's my point. It's what I'm getting to.
Gabe hit every recruit from like 4 years at every high school.
Thomas Ashcraft and a sophomore named Benjamin Molina is who I met that day. And a couple other guys, including Bucky Sanders. Remember that? Deion Sanders Jr. was at Cedar Hill.
I didn't know.
And several others. Okay. Yeah, he was there before Deion started his own school that didn't work and then started another one, I think. But at that time, I met that young coach. I'm no Tech fan.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, it doesn't surprise me in the least. Now, it helps when you have literally tens of millions of dollars to play with in your war chest. But it doesn't surprise me in the least. He's ultra successful as a college football coach.
Yeah.
You can see it. You can feel it way back when. No doubt about it.
Timeout. I'm going to type the Ask Liucci real quick.
Oh, we're timing out? Well, hey, you type while I talk because I think we're live.
I forgot about that. Oh, man.
Thanks for recording, Gabe. What do you think? All right, I'm going to talk and he'll listen out of his right ear.
Keep going.
Because there is something.
We don't have to take a break. That was just.
Exactly. There's something called In the News, right? So some cool things about bye week is you don't get so hung up in what just happened, what's about to happen, and there's some of this news stuff we can hit because we didn't have a game to look back on. And so there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened in the news. But while we were on Mateer, who's out several weeks with a broken hand, we got to hit that angle because you mentioned Texas and you mentioned Mateer, but we haven't put this part together yet.
Okay.
And that is he's out with a broken hand and very conveniently going to miss at least probably 3 weeks, if not more. And just so happens to be right before the Red River shootout in Texas. Can you believe the luck? I saw your man Luke Evangelist put this tweet out. 8 of Texas' first 11 SEC games were against backup
quarterbacks. Wait a second. Luke did have some shadiness in there, and he set me up.
He had some caveats.
I'm gonna have to give him a hard time because I got.
Nonetheless, as lucky as you can get facing quarterbacks.
Everybody grilled me because he did. I would not include Marcel Reed on that. I would call Marcel Reed a backup against LSU clearly because he didn't start the game. I would have called him. Hang on. Sorry,
I hear
live
you.
Listening audience. I would have called him a backup against Florida and even Arkansas, but I wouldn't have done it once he took over for Connor. Post LSU, he's no longer.
Yeah, I hear you. But last year they played Michael Van Buren, Michael Hawkins, Aiden Warner from Yale at Florida,
Wait.
Cutter Boley at Kentucky, and Gunnar Stockton.
See,
unreal.
I will also take out Gunnar Stockton.
Why?
By the way, they lost that game.
Beck was there.
Because they knocked Beck out of the game. You get credit. If you're facing a backup quarterback because your defense blew up the starter and knocked him out of the game, then yeah, I mean that's the one that's earned. That's not gifted like these other ones. And I don't know. I think the guy that started for them Michigan was promptly benched after that. He was so bad. So
you're exactly right.
There was a ton of that, and I'm not even sure. Even against one of these like Djokovic teams,
that Alex
they
Orgy,
did that.
is that who did they started that?
No, I think
the other guy.
I think the other guy, and then Orgy. Yeah, but
now who are they going to roll out?
But look,
here's the
other thing. The year before, Gabe, they got backups at a lot of those games, and it was several. It wasn't one or two. And the thing is, they're going, well, Hawkins was a starter. Hawkins was a starter because Jackson Arnold stunk, then he was so much worse that they went back to So, no,
Exactly.
they were very fortunate in the QB department. I think not last year, but the last 2 years. Then they'll say, well, our quarterback was hurt. Yeah, and let me know who you guys played when he was hurt. Quinn Ewers injuries. And this is, again, Texas doesn't have to apologize for this.
No, it's luck of the draw.
But their injury, but it's factual. So you don't have to get super defensive and aggressively defensive when people talk about it because it's just factually what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Like, hey, it's a war of attrition. But their QB got hurt, and they were fortunate because their quarterback got hurt, and they played Mississippi State and ULM last year. You know, the year before when, what was his name? Quarterback Malik Murphy came in. They played like U of H and somebody else bad, and they were able to survive it. Timing is everything, right? Like if Mateer, like they can beat Kent State with Mateer without him. They can probably beat South Carolina without him. But it just so happens that Texas is right there in the middle, and they better have him back, or they're going to have a tough time. Because otherwise, I thought OU was going to win that football game.
I agree.
I really do. I think because OU's defense is so good, they would have won a game similar to the one they won against Auburn and Michigan, in my opinion.
Totally. All right. Also in the news, the mullet man, Mike Gundy's out at Oklahoma State in the middle of his 21st season at his alma mater. The Cowboys firing the 58-year-old man after an abysmal 1-2 start. What was it, 69-3 against the Nike school, and then all of a sudden lose to Tulsa? Yikes.
Good, and congrats to Tulsa.
Yeah.
But that, man, like York State, it's a bad deal. And they're right to fire him.
They're paying him $15 million to go away and get a haircut. Greatest job in the world.
He might not get a haircut. He might he's the guy that'll just let it go. But yeah, I mean, look, you like to, hey, this guy's been here this long, let him finish the season. But it got so bad, and it's his fault. Oh, yeah. Like, I get it. Like, if he's not, it's Oak State's fault, but he's party to that too. Like, to let it get to a point, but like Oak State not supporting that thing enough to let it get to that point in terms of NIL, that's not on Gundy. That's on a lot of other people. But also, Gundy, let's be real honest. And I got a couple buddies that are Oklahoma State guys. One is an Aggie Oklahoma State guy. Let's be real honest. And you guys can deny this all you want. That guy's behind the scenes tried to leave so many times. So when his name comes up in jobs, he's the one that's. So there's that, but there's also he doesn't want it. It was like they're married together, and it was just this thing that just never. I know he and the old AD, the golf coach Holder, that was
well, and even the money man
they
before
did
he
not
passed,
like
right?
each
Boone.
other.
Picking.
T-Boone, but especially Holder and him did not like each other. They clashed all the time.
It felt weird for a long time, and it lasted second longest of any current coach.
It went too long. Gundy should have left. Like, if he could have got that Tennessee job when Heupel did, or when Butch Jones did, whichever one it was, he should have done it. That was the time to do it. But 18 years, man, like, he's a great coach. He's one of the best coaches in. Who are the best coaches in Big 12 history?
Factoring longevity.
Mac Brown, Bob Stoops, Mac Brown, Bob Stoops, Bill Snyder. Mm-hmm. Those are probably your top three. I mean, I might be missing someone, but those are probably. And then come like Leach.
Campbell's freaking good.
Campbell's good, but he ain't.
No, he's tier 2.
Yeah,
right there.
It's Leach, probably Gundy and Leach, right? Like it's a short.
There's a 1 and 2,
and Gary Patterson for sure.
Yeah,
Gary Patterson would go, but
I think about
how
our
long
Big
were
12.
they in the Big 12? Yeah,
right.
But anyway, he's on the very short list. He's at one of the all-time. If they had a Big 12 coaching Hall of Fame, he's in it.
Oh yeah,
he's done a remarkable job there. But 18 years, you can just look at a picture in the interviews of him. I'm a man, I'm 40. And like you just said, he's 58.
Yeah.
That's 18 years from that. And you go back 3 more years. Go look at some of his interviews from like his first year on the job. I mean, he looks like a kid, and he's aged well. He doesn't look like he's, but you see the difference, and you're like, okay, that's a long ass time. That shelf life. I got a pizza sitting in my fridge right now from Costco that I bought and didn't cook in time, and I missed throwing it out in this week's trash.
And it's still in there?
I'm going to leave it in there because I don't want it to stink up the trash.
Yeah,
I don't think that pizza would anyway. But
how much would you?
But that shelf life has expired. It's done. It's run its course.
You wouldn't eat it for $20?
No, I know a lot of people would, because you'd probably hear the date and go, "Come on, Billy, it's freaking cheese and sauce."
It's not that bad.
And I had frozen it even for a couple of days. But anyway,
yeah, you're good.
Gundy is that pizza.
Yeah,
they needed to throw it out.
Let me ask you, because you like to localize when you can. If you're A&M's play caller, do you hold out for your alma mater later?
Klein, you talking about all the mentions?
Yeah, because Kleiman is probably, if it stays like this, he might be 2 years away from being asked to
I
leave.
think if well, first of all, Colin, it has to be more than Mushmouth Central on Twitter.
Yeah,
talking about it, and these guys
these national guys,
they do this now. This is their thing. They throw like a giant net, and they try to say everything so they're right. Everything they'll say,
and then they can say,
and they talk to agents, and they are the puppets of agents, and they're getting info on NIL deals in return for promoting agents. So every time you see one of these NIL deals posted, it's because the person that posted is kissing the agent's ass for information, and that's fine. That is part of it. But you as a consumer and someone who takes in this information needs to understand it.
Some of that's phony.
A lot of these names are agent-driven.
Sure.
In terms of Colin Klein, he's going to be a fast riser beyond Oak State and K-State, I think, after this season, when people really see what this offense can do, because that wasn't the case last year when it was decent.
Look at the Wildcats since he left. That's another case in point.
Kansas State.
He's better people give him credit.
So to your point, if you're Colin Klein, do you jump? And again, do you go through? Do you shoot past Munkin? Do you shoot past Zach Robinson, the former player whose name is popular? He's with the Falcons. Do you shoot past those guys? Does a guy like Traylor not come up? Do you
give Dana one more moment in the sun? Probably not.
Probably not. But I would love that. But
that'd be awesome.
I just don't think so. But do you try to go get a John Summerall? Would he leave Tulane for Oak State?
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know that he would. Not that Tulane is better per se, but does he wait?
Hey, call up Jimbo. Call up Jimbo. Give one more crack at it.
He'd probably do it.
I bet he would.
But my point is, don't assume Colin Klein is sitting there at the front of the line. I'm not saying, we've learned to never say never.
Yeah.
And certainly I understand why people are mentioning that name, because it feels like a fit and from where. But yeah, if you're him and you're sitting there and you're going, okay, if my offense does what I think, and I'm bringing back Marcel and Craver and a lot of these weapons, do I sit here? Because ultimately, I believe Colin Klein will be the next head coach at Kansas State. You hope for him.
Sure, he's beloved.
And if you go to Oak State and sign a several-year deal, how much of a roadblock are you putting up in front of yourself?
Yeah,
so I'm just
saying those donors afford to buy that out when they got to pay players too. Probably not. Yeah, so good point. All right, so the SEC announced a permanent 3-team rivals that remain intact at least the next 4 years. For A&M, it's Texas, LSU, and Missouri, which kind of to the chagrin of many Aggies, they would prefer to hear the cowbells for 3.5 hours or maybe go to Vietnam. But, anyone who's followed this lately in the last at least couple months should know and not be surprised, because you've been all over this. So if you've listened to TexAgs and Billy, you would know that it's going to be Missouri. He basically just laid it out there. Any of that didn't seem like it surprised you. Are you kind of mid on Mizzou, or it's like, hey, shoot, go get a?
I'm neither here nor there with the Mizzou one.
Yeah.
Look, right now that's a tough one.
I know.
Right now it's like, damn, there are a lot of teams I'd rather play than Missouri. But over time, and I understand, like they were a really solid Big 12 program, and they had a couple of amazing years.
But I'd put Pinkel in that second tier.
Yeah, Pinkel.
Yeah.
And then there was, and they've been to 2 SEC title games. And, I was arguing with somebody with Missouri the other day behind the scenes, and they're like, well, did we beat y'all both of those years we went? I said, yeah. And one of those years was legit. The other one, we weren't that good. But point being, it's not Alabama. Is no offense, Missouri. You guys tend to be pretty sensitive. It's not Alabama. It's not Georgia. Even though they beat Tennessee a lot, it's not like it's not OU or Texas or like LSU. Like I didn't want to see. You don't want to see A&M play Texas, LSU, and insert another
100%
high-end program historically.
Yeah, 9-game schedule will be hard enough.
Yeah.
Then just go to a place not quite as intimidating for that other
These schools,
game.
And this has nothing to do with A&M. So I get it. A&M's success level has been. Now people don't give them enough credit, but A&M also has never been any type of power. But at the same time, people act like they've been irrelevant in the SEC, and that's completely false. It's ridiculous. And also to act like A&M historically has not been relevant is also ridiculous. But they don't deserve a giant pat on the back for anything they've done since coming in the Big 12, save 2 of the 14 seasons. But
A&M hosts Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky.
This has. Let me finish this one. This has nothing to do with A&M when I say this, but when you're going to play Missouri, it depends how good they are. Depends on the coach. So if it's Pinkel, yeah. If it's Drink, yeah. If Drink gets hired away in another year or two, if you took him and put him at Arkansas, you'd rather play Mizzou than Arkansas.
Definitely.
If you took him and put him at Florida, if you took him and put him at South Carolina, if you took
Kiffin goes to
Lane
Florida,
Kiffin,
he's at Ole Miss.
Yeah, then Ole Miss, you'd rather play Ole Miss than Missouri. If you'd rather play, what was his name? Matt Luke.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather play Matt Luke, Ole Miss, than Gary Pinkel, Mizzou. So there's a lot of these teams. It's just kind of where they're at right now. But over time, you just didn't want to see an Alabama or Georgia. But
and Drink's gone through 2 cycles of players now, and is still really good.
Yeah.
So I think the key is where's he go next? Yeah. Because he's going to be white hot, you would think.
Yeah. So I'm fine with the 3.
Yeah. Now get this. Finally, in year 16 as a member of the SEC, Georgia will finally make its way to Kyle Field in 2027. Frankly, I don't believe it. I thought it was in the bylaws that these 2 teams couldn't play each other at Kyle Field.
Gabe, it's absurd. Imagine. Wild. So A&M's been in the SEC for that will be year 16.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know how long they were in the Big 12?
That long.
16 years. This is year 14.
I know.
We're almost in the SEC as long as we were in the Big 12, believe it or not.
That's actually crazy to think about.
And so think about this. Like imagine if A&M was in the Big 12 and the entire tenure of their stay, they had played Nebraska 1 time. And then Nebraska did not come to Kyle Field until the final year that they were in the Big 12.
I feel like I remember 5 Nebraska trips.
And same thing now, take, say, Kansas State. Take Kansas State. And say K-State in the 16 years had come to Kyle Field once, and it wasn't until the next to last year you were in the league that you went to Manhattan, because that's Kentucky.
Right.
Nobody really cares about that, but it's still insane.
Meanwhile, Kansas, you've played them 6 or 7 times. That would be Florida.
Yeah, it's a complete failure
it's wild.
of scheduling. It's complete oversight by the league. I understand it's hard to make the puzzle pieces work.
Sure.
But to not have rectified that somewhere along the way was criminal. I'm surprised they don't play Georgia next year, even though I'm okay with it. I've got some thoughts real quick on this game.
Okay, good.
I'm going to read them off rapid fire.
You glasses?
It doesn't matter. Everyone will feel the pain from a 9-game SEC schedule. So if you want to complain about A&M's draw, everyone's going to feel that. 9 games, every other year you play 5 SEC road games. It's an ass kicking. And like Feinbaum said yesterday, they've gone and done this now. So playoff committee, when you're yapping your mouth about strength of schedule component and what it really means, you better count that, because there better be a lot of 9-3. 9-3 is going to become the new 10-2. And if you live up to what you said, playoff committee, otherwise you're going to have a real problem. So 9-3 is a new 10-2. What do I hate about it? I think it's absolutely preposterous that you have to go to Baton Rouge twice in a row. And shut your asses up, all my LSU friends that are gloating about that. A&M needs to go down there and win next month somehow. I know how hard that is.
Yep.
You need to go break that streak because you're playing them twice. You can't afford to go back-to-back losing to them.
Yep. Stakes are way too high for that.
26 road schedule next year. LSU, Missouri, Bama, South Carolina, and OU. Sounds brutal, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
It really
At
does.
LSU, at Mizzou this year. At Bama is about like being at Texas this year, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Say that.
At South Carolina is probably about like being in Fayetteville this year, right?
Okay.
And at OU, you could compare that to at Notre Dame. It's actually no tougher than what A&M's undertaken this year. So,
and you probably won't face Mateer, right? He's gone.
yeah,
and you probably won't face a lot of those.
Yeah. So, point being,
Nussmeier, obviously.
Point being, if you're every year you can look at this, and the answer is going to be, you better have a really good football team on your
and
end.
I think we will.
Yeah. Texas, Arkansas, Kentucky. The next year, Texas, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, plus Arizona State. I'm sorry, that is a nice home schedule next year for the fans. That's awesome. You get the Longhorns, the Hogs coming back for the first time since 13.
Other than the COVID year, yeah.
Yeah, true. You get Tennessee, which we love, and Arizona State. So I love that home schedule.
Absolutely.
We talked about Georgia. Okay, here's one, and I'm really wondering, like, who's A&M's? You talk about quarterbacks in 27. Who's A&M's quarterback? There could be one of several guys there. 27, Georgia, Ole Miss, Vandy, LSU, and Mizzou at home. Georgia, like you said, coming back to Kyle Field, and then you get Florida, Auburn, Mississippi State, Arizona State on the road. Another brutal schedule. Is that Kiffin's return to Kyle Field, or does A&M go face him in the swamp?
Man, if they can't get him now, they're never going to get him. At that point, he's just married to Oxford. Yeah. His whole family's back together, everything else. Seems like life's going so well. They'll let him do anything he wants, and he's calmed down, too. Oh, man.
My final
gut feeling is Kiffin is still with the Rebels.
Me, too. Yeah. I feel like he, deep down, he's self-aware more than he acts. And I think he's very self-aware, and I think he got to understand, like, I'm in a good place here. I haven't ever been in a good place for me, and this is it. Finally, I love the alternating formula. I thought it was going to go 4 home next year, 4 on the road. 4 home, same 4. I like that they alternated it. I really like that.
Creative.
And then finally, Texas has to play a real schedule in the SEC.
Well,
I mean, it got tougher this year, last year, but look at this one.
All right.
Next year, at LSU.
Good.
At Missouri.
Good.
At A&M. And at Tennessee. So they go to Death Valley, Kyle Field, and Knoxville. We can't say that, their days of getting off easier. And then next year, here are their home games. Ohio State, Ole Miss, and Florida.
Oh, yeah. That's a big time
in
schedule.
2027, they draw both Georgia and Bama. So Texas, no more breaks for them after this year unless all the quarterbacks get hurt again. But so like I said, Gabe, everyone's going to face it tough. I wouldn't waste too much time lamenting or bemoaning what your schedule looks like if you're anyone in the SEC.
All right, we'll go through buy, sell, rent pretty quick, and then we'll hit Easton's Corner. He's got an interesting question about Mario Craver for you, Billy, and then we'll close it out with some things we're really looking at. And A&M wins if A&M loses if. You'll pick the game on Friday, so we'll just kind of dive in a little bit more as we close it out. But right now, buy, sell, rent presented by the Aria Luxury Condos in College Station, formerly Gateway Apartments. Now, luxury condos, the Aria at Holloman and Welborn, just 3 minutes from right here at TexAgs. Incredible amenities, outstanding updates, and full renovation. Email me. We're handling all the sales for this complex. We'd love to walk you through it and explain all of the good things going on at the Aria. Gabe at BachRealtyGroup.com, and let's set it up and talk about that. But buy, sell, rent, we're talking with the team or the player that you are buying, Billy, in the SEC.
Well, did I not buy Vandy and Pavia last week?
Yeah, the funny thing about stock in houses, you can just keep buying more of them.
Yeah, I'm not going to do the monopoly thing. I'm not building hotels in Nashville yet, although that'd be
nice.
Probably a nice lucrative.
I wish I had bought all the stuff behind TexAgs pre-Johnny.
Yeah.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
And we could have back then.
We sure could. I know.
So Who am I buying? I'm buying, you know, I'm buying this week. I think I'm buying Ole Miss and I'm buying Trinidad. Okay.
You've seen enough?
I'm buying Trinidad.
Okay.
I think.
Has he supplanted Simmons?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to start this week.
Yeah.
And
How about
he's,
that?
man, where's he from?
Ferris State.
Ferris State.
The Fighting Buellers.
Ferris State. And I think he's going to go beat LSU this week, and he's going to show that maybe that LSU defense is a little overrated. And I don't think they're bad, but I think people are talking about them being this great, unstoppable unit. I think it's going to be a massive win for Ole Miss and them. I'm buying Ole Miss on this very manageable schedule, manageable to get to 10, and I'm buying Trinidad.
Yeah. I agree. I rented Ole Miss. They're 4-0. Trinidad's been incredible. Came out of absolutely nowhere.
I picked Tulane
absolutely nowhere. They crushed
45-3.
All right, there's where you think about buying this team. And the schedule's about to get really hard and then super easy down the stretch. If they can get by LSU, Washington State at home, and then at Georgia, at OU with even one loss, they're going to the playoffs. Even 2 losses, 2-2 in the next 4, they're probably winning out.
Yeah.
But their defense, I think, is way better than people gave them credit for because they got a lot of criticism. They lost a ton. Didn't throw enough NIL dollars maybe to defense, but to hold the BYU transfer, Retzloff, to 56 yards, he was 0 for 9 to start the game. The game was over before he completed a pass.
Tulane's not bad.
They're not bad.
And they kicked the dog at them. So, yeah, I'm buying.
They're going to win this week.
That's my buy.
I like it. All right, I'll rent them.
Mm-hmm.
My buy, I'm just going Missouri. I mean, the Missouri stock right now, I'm drinking what I'm enjoying what drink is serving. All right now, offense and defense. What they did, they got the good Lenore sellers. Defense? Yeah, I mean, they held them to -9 yards rushing.
He threw for 300-something yards and
I know, but to survive a good Lenoris and to still go out there and show so much toughness,
I'm not
Hardy's
buying.
ridiculously good.
I'm buying. You're buying them. I rented them last week.
Yeah.
I'm buying that as one of the toughest games that A&M's got to deal with.
Totally.
But I'm not buying that defense.
Here's what I'm fascinated about. It's UMass and then 2 weeks to prep for Bama, and that's at home.
Yeah.
That's going to be fascinating.
I could see them getting them.
All right, selling.
I am selling Oklahoma. I don't think that's a tough one here. And it's unfortunate with Mateer, but I was not all in on them anyway. As I watched them against Auburn, though, I was going, man, they can win a lot of games 24-20, 23-17 with that defense. Because, again, they're playing a tough schedule, but they're not playing like just some assembly line of elite by any stretch. I mean, you put that team against LSU, it's a defensive battle. You put that team against Texas, it's a defensive battle. So I actually thought they had an identity that was going to be like an identity that would feed them well in a lot of similar games, but not without Mateer running that ship. So I'm selling Oklahoma now.
I'm just you have to. It's the obvious one, but you sell Arkansas. You can't lose the way you lose anyway, and you can't lose to Memphis anyway. And then to do both when you had the game in hand, even it would have been disastrous, and you still would have won. And then they fumble the ball away and lose it like that. I mean, slamming Sammy Pittman is on his way out.
Okay, so I got a theory on this.
Yeah,
I'm not selling. Arkansas. I'll sell them. I think. If there's a football game I'd be interested in watching Saturday, it'd be Notre Dame and Arkansas. Arkansas is going to score points on that Irish defense.
Well, Sam's coaching for all of it right now.
But is he not always? I mean, was he not last weekend against Memphis?
He's been on a really large, really warm seat for ages.
So, I mean, that seat's warmer than that chair Bronny sits in every morning in the office. That is a hot seat.
Darn near predates COVID.
Yeah,
guy's been on a seat.
Baking that thing for a while. But look, Pittman. Yeah, trust me, he's coaching for his job last weekend in Memphis, and you saw how that went. Kick the damn field goal, kneel the ball if you have to. But anyway, point being, here's what's going to happen. And you see this from a million miles away. You're crazy if you don't see this coming. They probably put up a good fight and lose a high-scoring game to Notre Dame. Then they go up to Knoxville. And so probably behind the scenes, it's like, this is it. We got to make a move to generate some kind of excitement within this fan base. And if we're going to do the unthinkable and make that guy that once had to leave us because of a motorcycle incident the guy again, we've got to do so with him with a body of work as a quote-unquote interim. So I think that decision would be made after this weekend, but they're not going to let him go do that and take an L in Knoxville, the first game out of the chute. So you let Pittman go take that, which would be 4 in a row for them. And again, I think the Notre Dame game is going to be close. I'm just saying, you let that be their 4th L in a row.
You have to fire him on Sunday.
Then you make the move. Then you do this. It's Bobby Petrino's back. It's a night game in Fayetteville. It's against your nemesis, Texas A&M, that Petrino as a head coach was 3-0 against, and that Petrino worked for his last job. It's the only way. It's the only way that you take that environment from nothing after 4 straight losses and against a team that's beat them 12 out of 13, and turn that into an absolute zoo.
Oh, they're going to brush their teeth for that one. I'll tell you what else they're going to do. First 50,000 to wear a neck brace, get in free.
For an A&M team that has to play at Notre Dame at night, at LSU at night, and at Texas at night. And by the way, you're going to mix in, I'm just telling you, it's going to be Bobby Petrino's return to the head coach's throne in Fayetteville.
You just scripted it, dude. It's freaking done.
It's going to happen.
Free neck brace.
Funny thing is, the only thing that prevents that, in my opinion, is if they're upsetting Notre Dame this weekend.
Gabe, can you wear a neck brace up in Vietnam? Come on, we got to figure that out. Yeah, that's going to be great. I guarantee it's going to happen. All right, that's good stuff. And then who you're renting? Because I'm selling Archie, and I rented Ole Miss, so I've already given it to you. Who do you got? Can be a quarterback too.
I'm going to rent. This is a 1-week rental.
Okay.
I'm going to rent Bama.
Short-term rental, Airbnb
I'm going to rent Bama and give them one more shot at this.
Wow.
They've owned Georgia.
I know.
They're going up there. If Kirby and Georgia can't beat them on this one, I mean,
you're feeling Bama on a win.
I'm not really. I'm renting.
Okay.
But like I could see myself picking them this week.
I got a couple of those.
And I'm renting Ty Simpson. I think people have bought Ty Simpson. And I think they're premature. I think you should rent it.
The ball has not hit the turf in like 3 weeks for Ty Simpson. Give him credit. That's a coach's son. This dude is pretty legit, I think. I mean, I'm not calling him a top 6 quarterback in the league.
A&M wanted him pretty badly.
Yeah.
Jimbo's son was up there playing.
That's right. UT Martin?
Yeah.
Head coach still there?
I watched him at camp. I watched him at A&M camp, Ty Simpson.
All right, here we go. You ready, Cade? It's time for Easton's Corner, a weekly take from my son, Easton Bock. Here's Easton on the matchup with Auburn. Couple of keys, and then he's got a question about Cassius Howell for Liucci.
This is Easton's Corner, and it's Auburn week. We have all the momentum coming off a bye and beating Notre Dame, who is really good. And even though they have 2 losses, they can still compete with their run game. We have Auburn, who they showed after playing Oklahoma that they can beat really good teams, but we still need to step up. We just really need to step up to beat Auburn. I think the players that we need to see step out, and that I think they will step out, is Le'Veon Moss. He's have at least 100 yards against Auburn. We need Casey Concepcion also to have at least 100 yards, if not more. Like, I'd like to see him get 7 catches for 150 yards. I want to see him break out. I need to see Mario Craver get another 100-yard game. I'd rather see Casey Concepcion get the 100-yard game that he needs, because Mario Craver's already shown it, and we need Casey to step up and take the lead over Mario Craver, because we all know Mario Craver is really good, but KC is the more talented coming into the season. So we need him to step up to that role. Marshall Reed, I think he's going to have another great game passing. I don't care if he had a 40% completion against Notre Dame. That doesn't matter when, you just were so clutch against Notre Dame. I mean, if you have Casey and Mario Craver to throw to, you're going to have a great game. On the defense, we really need Cassius Howell and Albert Regis to step up and rush the quarterback, because Auburn gave up 10 sacks against OU, their school record, just last week. And our run defense was not very good. We haven't pressured the quarterback a lot. We need to pressure the quarterback, and we need our run defense to just step up in the game. And then my question for you, Billy, is will Cassius Howell over under 1.5 sacks or on 1.5 sacks? What do you think about Cassius Howell's sack rate?
Give the 12-year-old credit for knowing 1.5. You could be on it with a half sack.
Yeah.
I do give him credit for that.
Not a true over-under, right?
Right, yeah.
I'm with you, Easton. It's a big deal. And I actually think this is a KC Concepcion coming out party.
Yeah.
I think these guys are just going to alternate great games, and then the other one's still going to have a good game. Like, it's going to be but that pass rush, man. Do I think A&M's going to get 10 sacks? No, I think Auburn's going to scheme against that. But I do think they'll have them in enough third and longs. Cassius Howell, Easton, I'm taking the over. I think he has 2.5 sacks. I think he's really disruptive. His best game of the season, with the exception, obviously, of that one immaculate series against Utah State. But good stuff, Beaston.
Right.
I agree
Perfect.
with you. And then let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's close it out, man.
Going.
A&M Auburn Saturday 2:30. All right, ESPN. I'm not holding you to a pick, but just hit me with this as we close out. A&M wins if, or they fall at home if. What are kind of some of those keys that have to happen for you to win or lose?
I think we talked about the fall at home. If they fall at home, it's simply because they give up big plays defensively and can't run the ball. Because remember, they ran it solidly against Notre Dame, and they were able to stick to that. And even as good as this passing game is, I don't think it can be one-dimensional. But I think they win this game, and I think they win it in the 30-23 range, because I think they do run the football, and I think they get those playmakers win the game. And I think defensively, I think they do give up some big plays, but like Notre Dame, I think they make enough negative ones, and probably even more so than they were able to do in South Bend, that it tilts the tide, you know, when it matters most. So I think A&M wins a close one. But again, and I said it before the season, if they beat Notre Dame and Auburn and got out of September undefeated, I would have changed my prediction to 10-2 and a playoff berth. If they can get there, because again, Gabe, this is a tough test. You won big one. We've seen it so many times. You know, we've talked about this a lot today. You won a big one. You're off. You're at home. I'm not saying you should be better than Auburn. Like, Auburn's they're a storied SEC program, but right now, they beat you at their place last year when you were the better football team. The whole season proved it out. This year, you're a better football team than you were last year. You're playing at home, and you have a hell of a lot to play for. A&M should win this game, but it's not because they're entitled to it. They're going to have to roll up their sleeves and fist fight to take it. It's not like there's a big gap between these two football teams.
I'm ready for a fist fight. Let's go.
Yeah, where momentum's at, this is where you need to capitalize on momentum and the opportunity in front of you.
All right, there you go. Aggies, episode 5 in the books right here next week, same time, TexAgs.com/live. Looch Bock, Aggies and War Eagles, Saturday. Kyle Field, can't wait for it. Gig 'em.
Okay.
Good times roll, man.
Nuno had your boy Robert Earl Keen on today. Good to go.